My name is Hazel, and I'm 28 years old. I work as a graphic designer here in Seattle, and for most of my life, I thought I knew exactly who I was. I was the responsible one, the practical sister, the one who always had her life together, even if it wasn't exciting or glamorous. And honestly, I was okay with that. My younger sister Emma is 25, and she's always been different from me. Where I'm quiet and thoughtful, Emma lights up every room she walks into. She's beautiful in that effortless, way-long blonde hair, bright smile, the kind of person strangers want to talk to. Growing up, she was the golden child. Mom and Dad adored her. Family gatherings revolved around her latest achievement, her newest boyfriend, her dreams and plans. I didn't mind, though. I really didn't. She was my little sister, and I loved her. I was proud of her. We were close back then. Or at least, I thought we were. We'd stay up late talking about everything, our hopes, our fears, the lives we wanted to build. She'd ask me for advice about boys, and I'd help her pick out outfits for dates. When she graduated college, I threw her a surprise party. When she got her first apartment, I helped her move every single box up 3 flights of stairs. That's what sisters do, right? You show up. You support each other. You protect each other. Everything started to change 2 years ago. I'd been dating Marcus for 3 years by then, and he was everything I'd ever wanted. Kind, funny, stable. He worked in recruitment and loved hiking on weekends just like me. We fit together easily, comfortably. When he proposed to me on a rainy Saturday morning in our tiny kitchen, I cried happy tears. I called Emma immediately and she screamed with excitement over the phone. She said she was so happy for me. She said Marcus was lucky to have me. But then little comments started slipping out. We'd be at family dinner and Emma would say things like, "Are you sure he's the one, Hazel?" with this concerned look on her face. Or she'd ask, "Don't you think you're moving kind of fast?" I'd laugh it off, thinking she was just being protective. But the comments kept coming. She'd point out tiny flaws in Marcus that I'd never noticed before. She'd question our plans, our timeline, our future. 3 months after I got engaged, Marcus sat me down and broke my heart. He said he needed space, that he wasn't ready for marriage, that maybe we'd rushed into things. I was completely blindsided. I thought we were solid. I thought we were forever. I cried for weeks. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I felt like my entire future had been ripped away from me and Emma. She was right there with tissues and ice cream and late-night phone calls. She held me while I sobbed. She told me I deserved better. She was the perfect supportive sister. But even through my grief, I noticed something strange. Something I couldn't quite put into words. The way she smiled when I told her the engagement was officially off. The way her eyes lit up just a little too bright. It was subtle, barely there, but I felt it in my gut. Something was wrong. I just didn't know what yet. A month after Marcus left, I started noticing that people were treating me differently. At first, I thought I was being paranoid. Grief does that to you, right? It makes you see things that aren't there. But then the small moments started adding up. And I couldn't ignore them anymore. It started at Sunday brunch at Mom's house. I walked into the kitchen and the conversation stopped. Just died right there in mid-sentence. Mom looked at me with these sad, worried eyes like I was a wounded animal. She didn't know how to help. My Aunt Linda touched my shoulder and whispered, "How are you doing, sweetheart?" Really? The way she said it made my skin crawl. Like she knew something I didn't. Then my cousin Ashley stopped inviting me to girls' nights. We'd been close our whole lives, but suddenly, radio silence. When I finally asked her about it, she got uncomfortable and said, "I just thought you might need some space right now." Space? From what? I wanted to scream. But I just nodded and pretended I understood. The worst part was watching Emma at these family gatherings. She'd sit close to Mom, whispering things I couldn't hear. She'd look at me across the table with this expression that I can only describe as pity mixed with something else. Something that made my stomach turn. And everyone would pat her hand, like she was the one suffering. Like she was the victim of something terrible. I felt like I was losing my mind. Like the whole world had shifted. And I was the only one who didn't get the memo about the new rules. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning with my heart pounding, wondering what I'd done wrong. Why was everyone treating me like I was broken? Then my best friend Jenna called me one evening. I could hear the hesitation in her voice before she even spoke. "Hazel," she said quietly, "we need to talk. And you're not going to like what I have to say." She met me at our favorite coffee shop, the one where we'd spent countless hours talking about everything and nothing. But this time, her face was serious, angry even. She reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "People are talking about you," she said. "Emma's been telling everyone that you're obsessed with her, that you copy everything she does. Her style, her hobbies, her boyfriends. She's saying you can't handle that, she's more successful than you, that the breakup with Marcus pushed you over the edge." I sat there, frozen, my coffee going cold in my hands. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think what. It was all I could manage to say. Jenna's eyes filled with tears. "She's been doing it for months, Hazel. At first it was little comments here and there. But after Marcus left, it got worse. She tells people she's worried about you, that you need help, that you've always been jealous of her, and now it's gotten out of control. And people believe her because she sounds so concerned, so loving. She's playing the role of the worried sister perfectly." My hands started shaking. The coffee shop around me blurred. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be my Emma, my little sister who I'd protected and loved and supported my entire life. "Why would she do this?" I whispered. Jenna squeezed my hand tighter. "I don't know. But Hazel, you need to confront her. You need to stop this before it gets worse." That night, I called Emma. My heart was hammering so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. When she answered, her voice was sweet, innocent. "Hey sis, what's up?" I told her what Jenna had said. I tried to stay calm, tried to give her a chance to explain. And do you know what she did? She cried. She actually cried. "Hazel, I can't believe you'd think that about me," she sobbed. "I never said those exact words. Maybe people misunderstood me. I've been so worried about you since the breakup. You've seemed so lost, so unlike yourself. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to be there for you." Her voice sounded so genuine, so hurt, that for a moment I doubted myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe grief had made me paranoid. Maybe I was the problem. "Sorry," I heard myself say. "I'm sorry, Emma. I'm not myself right now." She forgave me. She told me she loved me. And I hung up feeling like the worst sister in the world. I'd accused her of something terrible, and she'd been nothing but kind. But deep down, in a place I wasn't ready to acknowledge yet, I knew. I knew Jenna was right. And that knowledge sat in my chest like a stone, cold and heavy, waiting for me to finally face the truth. For 6 months, I tried to rebuild myself. I threw myself into my work, staying late at the office, taking on extra projects, anything to keep my mind busy. And something amazing happened. Got promoted. Senior graphic designer. My own office with a window overlooking the city. For the first time since Marcus left, I felt like myself again. Like I was moving forward instead of drowning. I found this beautiful loft apartment in Capitol Hill. It had exposed brick walls, huge windows that let in the morning sun, and this tiny balcony where I could drink my coffee and watch the city wake up. It was perfect. It was mine. I'd searched for 3 months to find it, and when I signed the lease, I actually cried. Happy tears this time. I posted one photo on Instagram, just the view from my balcony with the caption, "New Beginnings." Then I went back to living my life. 2 weeks later, Emma called me, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Hazel, you won't believe it. I found the most amazing apartment. And guess what? It's in your building. We're going to be neighbors. Isn't that incredible?" My blood went cold. "What do you mean, my building?" "Capitol Hill. Same building, 1 floor below you. I saw your post and thought if Hazel loves this area, maybe I should check it out. And I just fell in love with it. We can see each other all the time now." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her to find somewhere else, anywhere else. But what could I say? It's a free country. People can live wherever they want. So I forced myself to sound happy. That's great, Emma. Really great. She moved in 3 days later. And suddenly, every time I came home, there she was. In the lobby, in the elevator, at the mailboxes, always smiling, always wanting to chat, always asking about my day. It felt like I couldn't breathe in my own building anymore. Then I started noticing other things, small things that made my skin crawl. I'd been taking pottery classes on Saturday mornings at this little studio in Fremont. It was my escape, my therapy, something I'd wanted to do for years but never had the courage to try. I loved the feel of the clay in my hands, the quiet focus it required. I never posted about it. I kept it private just for me. 1 month later, Emma posted a photo of herself at a pottery wheel, covered in clay, laughing at the camera. The caption read, "Discovered my new passion." There's something so freeing about creating with your hands. #potterylife, #artist in the making. I stared at that post for 20 minutes, my hands shaking. It couldn't be a coincidence. It couldn't be. Then it happened again. And again, I mentioned to my mom over the phone that I was thinking about cutting my hair short. Just thinking about it, exploring the idea. I'd been growing my hair out for 5 years, and I wanted a change. Something fresh. I told her I was considering an auburn color too, something warm and different. I even saved some inspiration photos on Pinterest, trying to imagine myself with a new look. 3 days later, I walked into Sunday brunch and there was Emma. Short auburn hair. The exact shade I'd been dreaming about. The exact style from the photos I'd saved privately. Mom gasped and rushed over to her. "Emma, oh my God, you look stunning. When did you do this? You're so bold, so original. I love it." Emma ran her fingers through her new hair, beaming. "I just woke up yesterday and thought, why not? Life's too short to play it safe, you know?" I stood there in the doorway, still wearing my long brown hair, and felt something inside me crack. She'd stolen it. She'd stolen my idea before I could even do it myself. And now if I cut my hair, if I dyed it auburn, everyone would think I was copying her. That night, I sat on my balcony and cried. Not sad tears, angry tears. Frustrated, helpless, furious tears. I felt like I was being erased. Like everything I touched, everything I dreamed about, everything I wanted became hers the moment I spoke it out loud. I was disappearing and she was becoming me. A better, brighter, more beloved version of me. I called Jenna, my voice breaking. "I'm not crazy, right? This is really happening." "You're not crazy," she said firmly. "Hazel, this isn't normal. This isn't coincidence. Emma is doing this on purpose, but why? That's what I couldn't understand. Why would my own sister want to steal my life? What had I ever done to her except love her? I didn't have the answer yet. But I was starting to realize that maybe I'd never really known Emma at all. Maybe the sister I loved was just a mask, and underneath was someone I didn't recognize. Someone I should have been afraid of all along. The email arrived on a Tuesday morning. I was sitting at my desk drinking my 3rd cup of coffee when I saw it. Subject line, offer of employment. Silver Lake Creative. My hands were shaking as I opened it. Silver Lake Creative was the dream. The top design agency in Seattle, the kind of place where careers were made. I've been working toward this for 2 years. Late nights perfecting my portfolio. Networking events where I pushed past my anxiety to make connections. 3 rounds of interviews where I poured my heart into every presentation and they wanted me. They actually wanted me. I couldn't breathe. I read the email 5 times, making sure it was real. Senior brand designer. My dream title. My dream company. Everything I'd worked so hard for was finally happening. I called Mom first. She was happy for me, but her excitement felt muted somehow. Then I called Jenna, who screamed so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. And then, because she was still my sister, because I still wanted to share my joy with her, I called Emma. "That's amazing, Hazel," she said. But her voice sounded flat, distracted. "I'm really proud of you." "I haven't signed the contract yet," I told her. "I want to read through everything carefully first. But Emma, this is it. This is everything I've wanted. I know, she said quietly. I know it is. Something in her tone made me uneasy, but I pushed it away. I was too happy to let anything ruin this moment. 2 days later, my phone rang. It was Emma, and she was crying. Not sad, crying, excited, crying Hazel. Hazel, you won't believe what just happened. I got a job offer at Silver Lake Creative. Can you believe it? We might be co-workers. The world stopped spinning. Everything went silent except for the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. What? I whispered. I know. It's crazy, right? They called me this morning. The position is Senior Brand Designer. I start in 2 weeks. Senior Brand Designer. My position. My job. My hands went numb. Emma, how did you even apply there? Oh, I didn't really apply, she said, laughing through her tears. A friend helped me get my foot in the door. They saw my portfolio and just loved it. Hazel, I'm so excited. We can drive to work together. I hung up and immediately checked my email. And there it was. A new message from Silver Lake Creative sent 1 hour ago. Dear Ms. Hazel, we regret to inform you that after careful consideration, we've decided to move forward with another candidate who we believe is a better cultural fit for our team. We appreciate your time and wish you the best in your future endeavors. I read it 3 times. Then I ran to the bathroom and threw up. She'd taken it. She'd taken my job, my dream. The one thing I'd worked so hard for. It's the one thing that was supposed to be mine. I called Jenna, barely able to speak through my tears. She took it. She took my job. What are you talking about? I told her everything. And then Jenna went quiet. Too quiet, Jenna. Hazel, she said slowly, carefully, like she was about to detonate a bomb. I need to tell you something. And I should have told you months ago, but I didn't have proof. I didn't want to hurt you without being sure. What is it? Emma and Marcus are together. They've been together for over a year, since before your engagement ended. The floor dropped out from under me. I slid down the bathroom wall and sat on the cold tile. The phone pressed against my ear. What? I saw them together 6 months ago at a restaurant in Ballard. They were holding hands, kissing. I confronted Marcus later, and he begged me not to tell you. He said it just happened, that they didn't mean for it to happen. But Hazel, I think it started way before that. I think she planned this. Marcus works in recruitment, I said, my voice hollow. He works in recruitment, Jenna. I know. And suddenly, everything made sense. The comments Emma made before my engagement ended. The way she'd planted doubts in my mind about Marcus. The breakup that came out of nowhere. She'd wanted him. And she'd wanted my life. And she'd used him to take both. Hazel, there's more, Jenna said gently. I did some digging. Emma's portfolio, the one she showed Silver Lake kids, filled with your work. Remember those projects you helped her with in college? The branding concepts you created when she was struggling with her senior thesis. She's passing them off as hers. I couldn't cry anymore. I was beyond tears. I was beyond feeling anything except a cold, clear rage that started in my chest and spread through my entire body. I'm going to destroy her, I whispered. Good, Jenna said. It's about time. Didn't sleep that night. I sat on my bedroom floor with my laptop, surrounded by notebooks and old photos. I started to piece together the puzzle of my own life. Every moment I'd dismissed as coincidence. Every weird feeling I'd pushed away. Every time I'd told myself I was being paranoid. It was all there, laid out in front of me like a map of my own destruction. The hardest part wasn't the anger. It was the grief. I was mourning my sister. The Emma I thought I knew, the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. Who I'd taught to ride a bike, who I'd protected from bullies in middle school, that Emma was gone. Or maybe she'd never existed at all. Maybe I'd been loving a ghost this whole time. I cried while I worked. Silent tears that ran down my face as I opened old Instagram posts, screenshot after screenshot. My coffee shop photo from March. It's her identical post from April. My hiking boots I'd been excited about. Her same pair 2 weeks later. My favorite book recommendation. Suddenly, her new obsession 3 days after I'd mentioned it. The pattern was suffocating. For every piece of my life, there was Emma's version posted just weeks later, always with captions that made it seem original, always with hundreds of likes and comments praising her taste. Her style, her authenticity. Jenna came over the next morning with 2 coffees and a determination that matched my own. "Okay," she said, settling cross-legged on my floor. "Let's build the case." We created a timeline, a detailed time-stamped record of everything. I pulled receipts from my pottery class. Enrollment dated January 15th. Emma's first pottery post was February 22nd. I found the lease. Agreement for my apartment signed. April 3rd, Emma's announcement that she was moving. Into my building came April 18th. I scrolled back through my private Pinterest boards, the ones I thought were just for me. Hair inspiration saved November 2nd. Emma's haircut posted November 5th. The auburn shade, the layered bob, everything exactly as I'd planned it. But it was the text messages that broke me. I'd always deleted my conversations with Emma to save phone storage, but she hadn't deleted hers. I asked her to forward me some old messages claiming I needed to remember the name of a restaurant we'd gone to. And they're buried in our chat history. Were messages I'd completely forgotten. Messages where I'd told her about my pottery class before I started. Where I'd sent her photos of my new apartment before I'd posted anything publicly. Where I'd shared my excitement about interviewing at Silver Lake. Talking about how it was my dream job, how I'd been preparing for years. She'd known everything. I'd handed her the blueprints to my life, okay? And she'd used them to build her own version, better and brighter. Leaving me in the shadows, Jenna found something worse. She'd stayed friends with Marcus on social media, and she started scrolling back through his old posts. There, from 18 months ago, were photos of him and Emma at coffee shops, at the park. Always carefully angled so you couldn't quite tell they were together. But the evidence was there if you knew what to look for. "She was with him while you were engaged," Jenna said, her voice shaking with rage. "She was sleeping with your fiancé while helping you pick out wedding venues." I remembered that time. How Emma had been so helpful, so involved in my wedding planning. How she'd asked Marcus questions about what kind of ceremony he wanted, what his dream honeymoon would be. I thought she was being a supportive sister. She was gathering information, learning about him, seducing him. The most damning evidence came from an old email I'd sent Emma. When she was struggling with her college portfolio, I'd attached 5 of my own design projects, telling her to use them as inspiration to understand the process. The email was dated 3 years ago. Those exact projects were now in Emma's portfolio on her website, listed as her own work. The same designs, the same color schemes, even the same client briefs I'd made up for practice. She'd stolen my work and used it to steal my job. I sat back and looked at everything we'd compiled. Photos, screenshots, receipts, timeline, text messages, emails. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. "What are you going to do with all this?" Jenna asked quietly. I didn't answer right away. Part of me, the part that still loved the idea of my sister, wanted to confront her privately. To give her one last chance to explain, to apologize, to be the person I'd always believed she was. But then my phone buzzed. A family group chat. Mom had sent a message. Wonderful news. Emma and Marcus are engaged. Engagement party this Saturday at the Ocean View. Can't wait to celebrate our beautiful girl. Our beautiful girl. Not our girls. Just Emma. There were dozens of responses. "Congratulations. So happy for you. You deserve this." What a perfect couple. No one mentioned me. No one asked how I felt. I was invisible. I looked at Jenna, and she looked at me. And we both knew what I had to do. "I'm going to that party," I said. "And I'm going to show everyone exactly who Emma really is." Part 6. Truth always wins. The night of the engagement party. I stood outside the Ocean View for 10 minutes, trying to calm my racing heart. I could hear music and laughter floating through the doors. My family was in there, celebrating Emma and Marcus. Celebrating a lie? I'd barely slept in 3 days. I'd rehearsed this moment 100 times in my head. But now that it was here, I felt terrified. What if no one believed me? What if they thought I was just bitter and jealous, exactly like Emma had been saying all along? What if I was about to burn down my entire family for nothing? Jenna squeezed my hand. "You don't have to do this," she whispered. "We can leave right now." But I couldn't leave. I'd spent 2 years being erased, being lied about, being turned into the family joke, while Emma stole everything I loved. If I walked away now, I'd disappear completely. I took a deep breath and walked inside. The restaurant was beautiful. String lights, white roses, a huge banner that read Emma and Marcus forever. I saw my mom laughing with my aunts, my cousin Ashley taking selfies with Emma, and there was Emma herself, wearing a white dress that made her look like an angel. With Marcus's arm around her waist, she saw me and waved, her smile bright and innocent. "Hazel, you came." I hugged her. I actually hugged her, feeling her body against mine, and I wondered how someone who looked so much like love could be made of so much poison. "I wouldn't miss it," I said softly. "You're my sister." Relief flooded her face. She'd been worried I wouldn't come, that I'd cause a scene. But here I was playing the good sister one last time. The dinner was torture. I sat at a table with distant relatives who barely acknowledged me, while Emma held court at the head table, glowing under everyone's attention. Marcus looked happy. He looked like he'd forgotten I'd ever existed. After dinner, the speeches started. Emma's maid of honor told stories about how generous Emma was, how creative, how inspiring. My mom cried and talked about how proud she was of her baby girl. Marcus talked about the moment he knew Emma was the one. I sat there listening, my fingernails digging into my palms, tasting blood in my mouth from biting my tongue. Then Emma stood up with the microphone. "I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Your love means everything to us. And I especially want to thank my sister Hazel for coming. I know things have been hard for her lately, and it takes real strength to show up and be happy for someone else. Hazel, you've always been my rock, and I love you." The room applauded. People looked at me with those same pitying eyes, like I was some tragic figure graciously supporting my perfect sister. That was the moment I knew I had to do this. I stood up, my legs shaking. "Actually, I'd love to say a few words about Emma, if that's okay." Emma's smile faltered for just a second, but she recovered quickly. "Of course. Come up here." I walked to the front of the room, my laptop bag slung over my shoulder. Jenna had helped me set up the presentation earlier when the staff thought we were arranging photo slideshows. The projector was ready. All I had to do was connect my laptop. I wanted to make a special tribute to my sister. I said into the microphone, my voice surprisingly steady, because Emma is really something special. I connected my laptop to the projector. The screen behind me lit up. For the past 2 years, Emma has been telling everyone that I'm obsessed with her, that I copy everything she does, that I can't handle her success. And honestly, I started to believe it myself. I thought maybe I was losing my mind. The room went quiet. Emma's smile was frozen on her face. But then I realized something. I wasn't obsessed with Emma's life. Emma was obsessed with mine. I clicked to the first slide. Split screen. My apartment listing from April 3rd on the left. Emma's Instagram post about her dream apartment from April 18th on the right. Same building, same view, same exposed brick. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I clicked again. My pottery class enrollment receipt from January 15th. Emma's first pottery post from February 22nd, calling it her new passion. Click. My Pinterest board titled Hair Inspiration saved November 2nd, filled with auburn bob photos. Emma's Instagram post from November 5th with her new auburn bob and the caption Spontaneous Change. Click, click, click. Each slide showed the same pattern. My life on the left with dates. Emma's original ideas on the right always, weeks later. The hiking boots. The book recommendation. The coffee shop I discovered. The yoga studio. The wall color in my apartment. Everything. The room was completely silent now. You could hear people breathing. "But those are just things," I said, my voice starting to shake. "Things don't matter. What matters is this. I clicked to a new slide. My job offer email from Silver Lake Creative dated 6 months ago. Beside it, Emma's LinkedIn announcement of her new position at Silver Lake Creative dated 4 months ago. Same position. Same title. This was my dream job. I'd worked toward it for 2 years. I told 3 people about this offer. My mom, my best friend, and Emma. 2 days later, the offer was rescinded. They'd hired someone else. Someone who was a better cultural fit. I looked directly at Marcus, who had gone pale. That someone was Emma. And she got the job because Marcus works in recruitment at Silver Lake. Marcus, who was my fiancé when this all started. Marcus, who Emma had been secretly dating for over a year while we were still engaged. The room erupted. People were gasping, talking over each other. My mom stood up, her hand over her mouth. "That's not true." Emma shouted, her voice shrill. "Hazel, you're sick. You need help." "Am I?" I clicked to the next slide. Screenshots of text messages between me and Emma where I'd told her about my pottery class before I started. About my apartment before I posted it. About Silver Lake before I'd signed anything. Timestamped, dated, undeniable. Then the final slide. Side-by-side comparisons of Emma's portfolio pieces and my original work. The same designs I'd sent her years ago to use as inspiration. She'd stolen my work and passed it off as her own. "You used my designs to get my job," I said. Looking at Emma, tears were streaming down my face now, but my voice was clear. "You've slept with my fiancé while helping me plan my wedding. You moved into my building, copied my hobbies, stole my dreams, and then convinced everyone that I was the crazy one, that I was obsessed with you." Emma was crying now, mascara running down her face. "You don't understand. You've always had everything so easy. Everyone always liked you better. I was just trying to what?" I interrupted. "To become me. To erase me. Emma, I loved you. I would have given you anything. You didn't have to steal it." I looked around the room at my family. Some were staring at Emma in horror. Others looked at me like they were seeing me for the first time. My mom was crying, her hands covering her face. "I don't need your apologies," I said quietly. "And I don't need your validation. I just needed you all to see the truth. I needed to stop being invisible." I disconnected my laptop, picked up my bag, and walked toward the door. The room was chaos behind me, people shouting, Emma sobbing, Marcus trying to explain. But I didn't look back. Jenna was waiting outside, and she hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. "You did it," she whispered. "You actually did it." And for the first time in 2 years, I felt like I could breathe again. The fallout was messy. Marcus ended the engagement 3 days later. Emma moved out of my building within a week. Mom called me crying, apologizing for not seeing what was happening, for believing Emma's lies. Some family members reached out. Others didn't. And honestly, I was okay with that. I didn't need everyone to understand. I just needed to reclaim my life. The best part came 2 weeks after the party. Silver Lake Creative called me. They'd investigated Emma's portfolio after the truth came out and discovered the plagiarism. Not only was she fired, but they re-offered me the position. They apologized for not doing their due diligence the first time. I accepted. And on my first day walking into that beautiful office with the city view, I didn't think about Emma. I didn't think about Marcus. I thought about me, about everything I'd survived to get here. Today, 6 months later, I'm thriving. I have new friends from work. I'm dating again slowly, carefully, but hopeful. I still live in my Capitol Hill apartment, and I still take pottery classes on Saturday mornings. But now, when I share pieces of my life, I'm not afraid of them being stolen. Because the truth is out there. I'm not the obsessed sister. I'm not the crazy one. I'm just Hazel. And that's more than enough. As for Emma, I heard she moved to Portland. I haven't spoken to her since that night. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about what she did, if she feels any remorse. But mostly, I just feel sorry for her. Because she spent so much time trying to be me that she never figured out who she was. If you're watching this and you've ever been gaslit, copied, manipulated, or made to feel invisible, please hear me. Trust yourself. Document everything. And when the time is right, speak your truth. It won't be easy. It might cost you relationships, but your peace of mind, your sense of self, your life, they're worth fighting for. Don't forget to like this video. If you believe that the truth always comes out eventually. Subscribe for more real stories about finding your voice and standing up for yourself. And tell me in the comments, have you ever dealt with someone who tried to steal your identity or your life? How did you handle it? I'd love to hear your stories. Thank you for listening to mine. And remember, you are not invisible. You never were. You've just needed the courage to be seen.